Hello, I'm Charlene Stevens. Welcome to Council Update. Today we're going to talk about the police reserves and the Emerald Ash Borer. Joining me is Mayor Myron Bailey. Mayor Bailey, we had a couple of presentations during the month of October at the council meetings. One was on our police reserves and then a second one on Emerald Ash Borer. They don't necessarily go together, but we'll talk about each of them.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, we'll first talk about the police reserves. And I would mention that we did recognize two new recent graduates of the police reserve program, Jessica Ross and I think it's Josette.
Yes.
Baldich,
yep, that's correct.
I think. And I don't know if everybody realizes the amount of hours that they
do a lot of hours
donate. I mean, the numbers that they shared with us at night are quite amazing. So 3,253 hours were volunteered by the police reserves in 2017. And that is just crazy. And they do everything from, our community events, helping with Strawberry Fest. I mean, if we have a parade in town, and whether it's the Strawberry Fest parade or the upcoming Halloween parade, for depending when you're going to see this, but the fact is they're there and they're helping move traffic and make sure that our parade routes are safe. And they do all kinds of other things too, and I don't know if you want to add more to that.
They do some of our traffic control, they do some crime scene security as well, and they often, actually people don't realize this, but they will do prisoner transport up to Stillwater and such, because that saves a great deal of time for our officers, and so they do that sometimes as part of their role as well. And maybe you just want to touch on what it takes to become a reserve. We have an academy for people if they'd like to volunteer.
Yes, and I'll just mention, so it takes over 7 weeks to actually do this particular training program, and it's overall about 30 hours worth of training, and they also spend 4 months with an actual officer out on the streets for either a sergeant or I guess you'd say a senior reserve, somebody that's up there a ways, I guess is the best way to put it. And the idea is to give them some good feedback and understanding of what the role that they're going to play within the city of Cottage Grove, and maybe in some case they all want to move into a actual police officer position.
Yeah, and it's just a great way to volunteer in the community, and we really appreciate all of the hours that they give to the community, so it was a nice way to recognize a couple of new reserves. And then our second presentation, which was on a very different topic, but also an important topic for Cottage Grove, was on the Emerald Ash Borer, and we got a little bit of an update from our City Forester, Quinn Paler.
Yes, and I would just mention that, the city over the many years that I've been on the council, since we knew that this was coming, really put a lot of focus into how do we manage this if it comes to Cottage Grove, the Emerald Ash Borer. It hadn't been in Cottage Grove, we've been treating trees and so on. And we've also been doing kind of a combination of removal of trees as well as treating trees. We did remove 215 trees over the winter of this past, and then the stumps in the spring of this past year. And obviously our city staff did most of these removals, but we did also hire some contractors. And then what happens is we do allow the homeowner to pick from a variety of trees. I think we've got down here like 16 different species, because one of the things we've learned from going through this Emerald Ash Borer thing is that we had too much. Yeah, we had too much, obviously too many ash trees actually within our boulevards and our parks and so on. So we're doing a better job of working on the diversity of the trees. We did have 200 residents that did ask or agree to participate in a voluntary tree removal program as it relates to this upcoming winter. So our goal is to kind of continue with this program going forward. And I will say, unfortunately, but I guess we're prepared for this, is we do have our first official review and occurrence in Cottage Grove of an Emerald Ash Borer that has been reported by a tree company here in Cottage Grove.
Correct. We had 2 privately owned ash trees that were discovered to have Emerald Ash Borer, and those were taken down and they were removed within the allotted time window. And so we've not had any other confirmed infestations at this time. And that really is what occurs when a tree is infested. With Emerald Ash Borer, it really does need to be removed. And so we ask people to take those down. And of course, if it was in a public right away, we would have taken it down, but these were private trees. And then you mentioned a little bit of this, is that we also do some treatment on trees to try to prevent Emerald Ash Borer, and so we did about 800 insecticide injections,
is very good.
which keeps in, and we've got a 3-year cycle for doing that as well. And then maybe you want to touch on, we are going to receive a little bit of a grant to assist us from the DNR with some of these costs.
Which is awesome. We've been doing a lot of this on our own through our general budget, and the fact is what we did get is a $28,000 grant from the DNR to help towards either both controlling the EAB or taking of trees down. And the good news, I guess, is there was only 4 of these grants that were given out in the state,
Yeah, so
and we
were
got
very
one of them. So that was pretty cool to see.
All right. Well, if you would like more information about emerald ash borer, contact City Forester Quinn Pillar. And if you would like more information about the police reserves, please contact Public Safety Director Pete Kerner. Thank you.
Thank you.